morning, everybody. Grabbing my coffee cup and I'm heading off to Illinois for some late season whitetail action. Alright, I'm going to buy my license now. All legal. So a lot of these crop fields that are planted on the public, they actually left perimeter crops in. And I think I'm just going to walk some of these field edges and just look at tracks and see what I see. See if I can find a big track, and then kind of work my way back from there, from where I think that big buck would be bedding when I find a big track. So it's nice and muddy. I should be able to see plenty good as far as tracks go. So pretty big track right there. It's just this bean field that has some beans left in it. I'm kind of focusing on like really small, maybe overlooked spots in the middle of these fields where hunters may not be able to get a tree in, or I even brought my chair and a ghillie suit to set on the ground in some of these areas. It look like it's just some like CRP stuff that's out in the middle, and I can definitely see big bucks living in the middle of these fields in some of these low little CRP areas. So that's kind of what I'm trying to narrow down right now, is what could be going in to those areas from some of these crops. I don't think the deer would be coming in here right here by the road during daylight hours, but I could be wrong about that too. So let's keep scouting our way in. I couldn't get it on film, but there's a doe bedded right in that corner. She's still looking at me. Kind of crazy. She's probably 20 yards from me. Never moved. I'm just gonna walk around here and get out of here. Go check a couple other spots. Those big tracks were enough to convince me this is a good spot if I don't find anything better. So I walked out to the road, kind of the catty corner road. I really like that spot. All the crops that are in still, and there's lots of beans on them, are up here in this area by the main road. And I have a feeling these fields back there have no crops, but there's a really nice and thick, nasty woods right up through there, and it pinches down and gets real narrow up here by the road where the crops are. So I could see some of the deer bedding on that end, and then at night working their way up here to the front. That's my theory, at least. Obviously there's a deer in there right now. There's more than that one deer, I guarantee it. But I want to scout out this area across the road too. My wind's wrong for scouting over there. So I gotta walk back to the truck, drive down the block, and then come in from the other road. That way I'm not blowing my wind all in the suspected bedding areas. We talk about like scouting in season, and it's kind of confusing to people, and sometimes it feels like we're contradicting ourselves about leaving scent in the woods and stuff. But this is how I aggressively scout during season, is I make sure my wind's right, don't do anything crazy or stupid. Like I saw that doe, just kept walking. I didn't sit there and spook her out of the area or anything. Kind of shocking though, honestly, that she didn't spook, because it seems like back home, if you walked up on a deer that close and she clearly could see me, she'd have jumped and got out of Dodge. But anyway, all right, I just got off the phone with Patrick. He's going to come and hunt with me. He's from Tennessee. He's a viewer of Before the Echo, Hunting Beast, and he was wanting to come back to Illinois, and he ended up kind of inviting me to come to the area he hunted earlier in the year. It's his first time being here. So he's almost here now. I'm going to scout out one more little area before he gets here, and then meet up with him, and he's kind of going to team up then with me and another guy. I'm not sure what the other guy's name is. So should be good. Nice old rub. This little area right here just tore up with rubs. Tells me there's a big deer in this area, or maybe there's not. It could be hanging in someone's taxidermy shop right now, but found someone's arrow. So they may have been coming out here and got it caught in the quiver and it fell out because it's just laying kind of weird, but pick that up and get it out of the woods. Just checked in to the hotel real quick. I'm gonna buzz over to that very first spot that I scouted, where I saw that really nice 4-finger track and that doe was laying on the field edge. Give it a try in there tonight. Seems like a good spot. I have a pretty good feeling about it. Sawyer and Patrick, they're up here from Tennessee hunting with me. They hunted up here in November. They're gonna go to a couple other spots that they are familiar with from hunting here in November and hunt there tonight, and then probably buzz around tonight a little bit, driving roads, seeing if we see anything, go across the road and then meet up afterwards, go get something to eat or something, and then scout tomorrow together. So it's gonna be a fun night. I'm excited. I haven't really been in the stand since Ohio, so it was whenever that was, middle of November. Yeah. All right, heading in. I'm just not seeing the buck sign I want to see in here. I could be making a mistake. I could walk up here in this woods a little bit and jump a booner, but I think I'm gonna kind of keep scouting around until I feel better about a spot and then get set up. There's some trails and stuff, but I didn't see any like giant tracks coming in here, back here where I thought they would be. And no big rubs or anything, kind of indicating that a deer would be in here. And then kind of lastly is not nearly as thick in here as what it looked like from on the outskirts, looking, you know, from the field into here. That's a bigger track there. I just came out here to this little drainage. It's in this this field, this bean field. I have to think that's night sign right there, but he also could be laying in these little fingers here somewhere. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I may look, kind of scout, follow these tracks, see if they go across the road, or if they are, sure enough, going down this ditch line. Going across the road right there. I'm not really seeing the sign I want to, and where that buck track went across the road, it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like that right there. There's not really any way you could actually hunt in there. And to be honest with you, I'm not so convinced that he actually went into there. Yeah, I think he may have walked down the road somewhere, because a buck with a rack would have a pretty rough time just nonchalantly going through that stuff. I don't think it's something they'd want to do all the time. I mean, it's like this. I know it's hard to see, but like, it is a complete tangle. So I'm going glassing tonight. I'm not going to sit. I'm just going to try to find a buck. It's a beautiful evening. I wish I was in a tree, but there's no reason to waste time sitting in a location I don't feel good about. So, especially this time of year, it's not like it's the rut where they could be running around everywhere. They're probably in a very specific spot, and I just gotta find that spot. So I'm just sitting, or standing on top of my cooler in the back of my truck, and I'm kind of at a high point in this big CRP field. I've probably seen 15 deer already. One buck, it wasn't a shooter, but I think I'm just gonna stand up here till about dark and then get out of here, see if something pops out. Kind of show you the view. When I pulled up, there was a group of does right over there. Back in there is a field, and there's a couple deer on that field. It's too far to film. You wouldn't be able to see it through the camera, but they're back there. Just need to find the right one. With this many deer in these CRP fields, there has to be a big buck in here somewhere. I just bet he's probably living in one of these little low areas out in here. Good morning, everybody. I'm almost back to where we were glassing last night, and on the way in here, just deer everywhere. I mean, every field had deer in it. Deer on the side of the road everywhere. So they're moving right now. But I'm gonna get on top of the truck again and kind of overlook everything, all this CRP, and see if I can spot a nice one laying down somewhere this morning. I got up here where I'm glassing this morning, and there's actually a couple trucks. There's one over there too. If I was guessing, they're probably bird hunting, but I don't know that for sure. But nonetheless, it's not the most ideal scenario, but I don't know, maybe it's not hurting the deer either. It's a pretty big area. They can probably bounce around in here and avoid them, but I think I'm going to maybe just, as to not bother these guys, just go find another spot. So I was driving down the road here, and I noticed that there was a private crop field kind of over here in this section, and down here in this CRP field there's just a cow path that's coming out of the CRP going across the road into that private. Patrick and Sawyer, which I need to introduce you to those guys. They sat kind of about a mile that way on the other block, like the other side of the block here, and they saw two really nice bucks last night. So I'm going to, we may kind of split up in here tonight, where I'll sit on this side in case they're coming out here and going across the road, and they can sit over there where they sat when we were probably not even hunting the same deer, but there's big deer in this area. Just a beat trail, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scout my way back in here and see what I see. I don't know if I'll have an option for getting in a tree tonight, so it might be best to sit on the ground, and I kind of want to have a plan for that before I just stumble into here. Pretty nice rub in here. So this stuff is just, I don't know. It's just this about chin high grass and kind of trails everywhere. No real good place to sit. My problem is I can't get in a tree, but if I'm on the ground, I got nothing. I don't think you can hunt in here. There's some really small trees back in there, but I don't think you can get in them. I mean, they're probably, you know, the size of a little bit bigger than a golf ball. 6 feet up. So keep on scouting. Looks like a little better woods over here I could get in. If the grass wasn't quite as high, I could sit on the ground, but it wouldn't be I don't think it'd be a great shot if it was, if being this this high. There's a walking path right here. I just see where this takes me. Made it back on the road. I don't know how I feel about that spot. There's a lot of deer sign in there, but it'd be rough to get a shot off, I think. So we kind of put our heads together. We, as in me, Patrick, and Sawyer, and we kind of came up with a plan to kind of tag team this area that they set at last night. And that was our whole kind of plan going into this week, was we were just going to kind of spread out the first evening and figure things out, and then condense our efforts to one area. And that's what we're doing tonight. They're essentially kind of hunting around the corner from me, and I'll show you that a little bit more once I get in there. Never been in here, and they haven't either. They're hunting up there where they saw the bucks. I'm going to go down. I'm probably a quarter mile from them or more, a half a mile maybe, and I'm going to sit down the CRP field farther. It's a gigantic field. So yeah, see what happens tonight. They saw a lot of deer. I saw a lot of deer. My problem with the spot I was at last night was there was just guys rabbit hunting and burn hunting there all day. Whenever I went back in there again midday, there was different trucks in there running around. So I think it must be a real popular spot for those type of hunters, which is cool. All right, let's get ready and get in there. Pretty nice out today. I mean, hunting weather wise, I think it's supposed to get down to about 37 tonight, so pretty good deer hunting weather. Gotta watch that beard and the zipper. I always put my release on walking in for a couple reasons. One, so I don't lose it or it doesn't fall off my bow. And two, just in case, you never know. I've had crazier things happen to me in deer woods than shooting one walking in. It's a pretty nice track. It's not looking like I thought it would be in here. Not that it's a bad thing, it's just not really CRP. It's really like tall horse weeds or whatever you call them. So there is a tree line that goes out into that CRP. You can see it right up through there. So I think I'm gonna walk down this lane until I get to that tree line, see what that looks like. I'd have to think that's where the deer would like to use that field out there. So, because there's no trees at all out there except for out there in that one finger. So I actually ended up coming out of that real nasty tall 15 feet tall horseweed stuff and came out into this more open CRP land. Patrick and Sawyer are down that way, hundreds and hundreds of yards. I'm not sure exactly how far, but probably 500 yards or more that way. There's this, I think this is some type of locust. It has these thorns all over it, but it's right here on this transition. You can see this really hard transition. There's actually an old scrape right there. I should be able to have a very good view of all this CRP field, as well as a good chance that all right there is a point that goes out into the CRP field. There has to be bedding there. My wind is blowing pretty much perfect right in my face back into those fields. On the other side of that woods right there is some green fields, like some winter wheat that they planted that's really green. So should be a good sit. If nothing else, I'll be able to see a long ways and hopefully get eyes on one for tomorrow. Or maybe if I can see that far, I'll see Patrick shoot one or something. I think Sawyer's even farther away. But all right, let's try to climb up in this death trap. We are all set up. I was going to show you around up here. You can see this is just a, kind of a smaller or shorter CRP field. And back behind us here, there's just a nasty thicket back in here that I can see there being a lot of bedding on. There's also a pond that goes back in there that kind of makes a pinch right here. And they had to filter through right here. They could also, come around that way and be way out of range. That winter wheat field is right over there, and that's where all those deer seem to be heading to. I got on Onyx. Patrick sent me where he was setting, and I'm 900 yards from him, so we're not even really in the same general area. We're just gonna split up in here until we kind of narrow our focus in. If he saw two nice bucks over there last night though, so we'll see if I'm in the game right here. I don't know if I am or not, but I at least have a good observation for a lot of yards that way to be able to see deer coming through. Wind's just kind of blowing back towards that green winter wheat field. I think it's fine. It's what it is. I just had a smaller buck and a couple does come in right here underneath me. I couldn't hear them because of all those stupid birds. And they ended up running that way. I don't know if they were freaked out because of the birds. The birds kind of did a big swirl thing when they ran off. And I think they ran up that way. I don't think they could have seen me, and I don't think they smelled me, so maybe they'll pop out here. I'll get a better look at that buck. That's got pretty exciting. I had a pile of them come out. They're still out here about 150 yards, but I did get some good news. Sawyer shot one, so that makes me pretty happy, to be honest with you. So as soon as these deer filter off here, I'm gonna back up and we're gonna go and see what's going on with that.
Hey man,
What's the story?
I'm just waiting on you.
Okay, I just got out. Sorry, I had a long walk.
Oh no, I'm just making sure you're okay.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I just got back to the truck. Good,
Okay, well,
good
we'll
blood
wait
then.
for the truck for you. Yeah, I think so. I only followed it maybe 40 yards into the woods and stopped. We found the arrow where it broke off. About half the bolts inside of him. He's shooting a rage. So, I mean, I think he hit the shoulder blade and it just stopped in that offside shoulder.
Yeah.
What it looks like. But he said when he hit the deer, it went bleh, and usually that's good.
Yeah, if it's in the shoulder and it's that far in, it's dead.
Yeah, I think so too. He said he heard it run and it just stopped. I'm like, yeah, he probably stopped right where.
Yeah.
Right where you heard.
You see anything?
No, I saw a small buck and probably like 8 does.
I saw one. I saw one shooter. I think I got good footage of him. I got to review it to see.
Oh, cool.
But
cool.
I think I can make a move on him tomorrow, maybe.
Sweet, dude.
He's not like a 150. Like I got to look and see if he's like a 125 or not, kind of thing. He's not like a giant. Yeah, it was a freaking really good evening. So what happened tonight, Sawyer?
So this evening, I probably shot the biggest deer I've ever shot. I was sitting in a ground blind.
Like a homemade one, kind of.
Yeah, homemade. Probably around 4 o'clock, I saw my first deer. Saw a doe, probably 100 yards away from me. And then kind of set up more to my left, trying to look in that way. And around 5:30, that big buck came out, and
yeah. It's probably closer to 5 because 5:30 is pitch black.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
I wasn't looking at my phone.
Yeah, no, you're good.
I don't know. I had some adrenaline.
When Patrick texted me, it was like 5
I was
o'clock.
gonna say, it was late.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Let's go get
Anyways,
him.
Yeah.
That's where we found the arrow.
Let me do. Oh man, he really whacked that, huh?
Yeah, and there's blood. Like all over the place. I'll let you look. Let's get some of that better blood. See the hair?
Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, that looks good to me. And then
There's more here.
you know, and remember he's got the arrow in him too. So.
Yeah, it's bubbly too. Yeah, it's bubbly.
It looks to me like good blood. Yeah, see it.
Yep.
He's doing a lot.
Doesn't have 2 holes.
That's true. And he probably he's shooting one side to the other, so shoulder shots can be funny. There's more right here. More right here. He's going down.
It's a good thing.
There's more. More right here.
Holy cow. I see a bunch way up there too.
Oh, it's looking better. Slow down.
Maybe I'd take a peek to the left if I were you guys. Dude.
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man. Good job, man.
Knock my hand off. That's why I told you hit him a little high.
Yeah.
Look at it sticking out there.
Yeah. And you be careful when you get him. He's a big deer.
Yeah. Is that your first buck out of state?
Yes, sir.
Awesome, man.
This first one with a crossbow too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Off the ground and everything.
Yeah. Heck yeah, man. There you go.